G'day folks, this is John Fitzgerald coming to you live from Horsham in country Victoria. And my background as a website developer has really alerted my attention to the fact that bricks and mortar in this country is in a lot of trouble. And if you've read my article, I speak a lot about getting online, shopping online, and serving your customers in a different way given this sort of economic and financial situation that we find ourselves in amongst this global pandemic. But I thought, why not show you guys how to get set up online, how you can set your business up online, whether that's taking a bricks and mortar shop into the world of e-commerce. If you've got a great home business or a hobby you think you can turn into an e-commerce business, by all means, follow this tutorial. I say about 10 to 15 minutes, we should be able to get set up and you'll be able to sell to customers within 2 hours once you've loaded all your products in. Payment methods, postage will go over and you'll be right to sell online. And I won't go over too much from the article, but for a lot of small businesses in Australia, this may be the option that saves them and stops them from going under, which I'm very passionate about. So cut to the chase, we're here, shopify.com.au, and I'd say most people have probably heard of Shopify by now. It has been around for quite a while. It's a fantastic tool. It's so simple to use. It's easy to get set up. And the best part is you get a 90-day free trial, and that's 3 months to work out where this global climate's happening, where your business sits, and to decide, hey, you might need to put on a few staff to help keep up with the orders. So I've created a little fictitious company called John's Gardening Tools, and John is an avid entrepreneur. He's ready to start selling some equipment online. So let's see if we can get him all set up. So once you're at shopify.com.au, you're going to want to start a free trial from the button in that top corner. Now, one thing I should have mentioned while I'm just filling my details out here is that there's only a few things you really need to get your shop set up and to start selling online. The first one being your logo, which, I mean, a lot of you will already have access to, if not a quick email to your designer or possibly your web designer. A banner image to use at the top of your homepage, which I'll show you in a minute. Of course, all of your product details, such as price, images, description, these sorts of things, as I'm just filling out my business name. And lastly, just a little bit of confidence. That's all you need to get this done. It's something that you can do. It's something you can put the kettle on, make a coffee, sit down for an afternoon, and get your business on Shopify as I work this one out. Now, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to put John's Gardening Tools Australia as my business name or my store name. Now, these do have to be unique, which is why I thought I'd point that out, as it does generate a unique login for your shop. So if it does match with someone else, if your business name's a little bit more generic, just put Horsham on the end or just put Australia on the end and you should be all set. So we'll create my store. If you wish to save your password, of course you can. I'm not going to in this instance. It'll run through a few minor setup steps here, and then we'll be ready to go. But before we do that, if it loads up here correctly, it'll ask you to complete a few short sort of survey-ish questions about your business. So I'm just going to fill these out as if I was a business wanting to go online. So I'm selling just not online. I'd like to sell online and in person. Of course, you would fill this out based on your particular business. And these are more just sort of data gathering questions than anything else. Now on this next step, you do want to fill this out correctly, as this is for your business. I'm just going to put my address. I'll put my address in here. And this will also link up with how you get paid, and it'll set the shop home address of the shop. So when you go through your shop settings, which we'll check shortly, it will actually show all these details listed in there. So as I'll put my phone number in here, and I will just leave that blank for now and enter my store. So those details just mean you don't have to fill it out in a few different spots later on, which saves a little bit of time. But what we want to see once this is finished is the Shopify Dashboard, which when you log in each time from here, that's what you'll be presented with, where you can view your orders, view your products, view all of your shop details, all from the one control panel. And here we are. So just as a quick tutorial here, I'll run through the left-hand side areas. We've got home, which is a screen we're on now. And as you can see on home, it's prompting us to set up a few options, which we'll get through shortly. Orders, which of course is where your orders will show when they come in. products will all be stored under products. It's very self-explanatory, as you can see. Customers will list all the customers that you've had come through your store, which you can use in the future if you want to contact people or set up mailing lists. Analytics, marketing, and discounts are a few more advanced options that you can use that I'm more than happy to help people with if they need. And apps is actually a cool little area that you might want to browse for your store, because that's where you can add plugins and different options to your store. So if you want to add things like upsells and cross-sells, and those sorts of features, MailChimp, these sorts of third-party integrations are all done through a series of either free or paid apps. So you're more than welcome to look through there. And then you've got your online store, which if you open that will expand into a few different areas, and we're going to look through these shortly. But let's just go back to home. You will see here, you get prompted with a couple of little things that you need to do before you get going. Now, it will ask you for your ABN straight off the bat, and I recommend just clicking on that and putting your ABN straight in. If you scroll down a little bit here, you can say, yes, I'm registered for GST, which might be your scenario. If you're not, click no, I'm not, and that'll just remember that setting. But if you are registered for GST, you can pop your ABN in there, and that'll just automatically calculate everything. So I'm going to say that I'm not, but if you are, make sure you say you are, and you pop your ABN in there, and that'll mean that you're also having the correct wording on your tax invoices and these sorts of things. So let's just start by adding a product. Now, I've got a few products ready to go on the desktop here. I've got an axe, a rake, and a shovel that'll be all sold through John's gardening tool. So I'm going to go and set these up right now. It's a good spot to start. So let's go for John's axe. So this is the product title, so obviously that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, description is, again, pretty self-explanatory. This is where you want to say a bit about the product. So if you want to have a full description, any customizations that are in there that you've got on that product, color, size, these sorts of things. We'll set up some variations in a minute, but this section allows you to add a description of your product, so exactly what it is. I'm going to leave that blank for now, as it doesn't really matter for what I'm doing. Next is the media, and this is obviously where you want to upload your photos. So if I go back to my desktop, John's gardening tools, and I'm going to upload the first image of the axe here, which I was just checking, make sure it was the right one. And there's our axe. Now, if you want to add more than one image, you can have like a little gallery that shows with the product. I'm going to grab another image there and upload that. Nice and easy. And of course, look, if you want to rearrange them, you can easily do it like this, depending on which image you want to appear first. And you can upload multiple that will just show in like a little gallery with the product. Now, as I scroll down here, you'll see again, it's very much following your nose when it comes to Shopify. Price, I'm going to put $50 or $50. You can add extra options on here if you want. If you'd like to add a stock keeping unit, you can, or a SKU. Barcode you can add. I'm going to leave all these blank. Again, it's just about getting set up. Quantity, if I wanted to say I have 10 in stock, that's where I want to do that. Shipping, at this stage, I'm going to leave this as it is, and I'm going to set shipping options at a global level, which I will show you shortly how to do that. But if you want to set up some more customized shipping options, you can set a weight for the product and a few different options here, but we'll leave that for now. Country of origin, I'm going to select Australia, and I'm just going to leave that the rest of that for now. And if we scroll back up to the top, there are a few more options that you can use here. Product type, vendor, collections, and tags. So some of these you can use if you wish. Some you don't really need to. Product type, you can only have one attached per product. So I might go product type, this is a tool, for example, and you can add it to tools. And all of these options end up being ways that you can filter products. And this again gets into some more advanced features, but just for now we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to leave the vendor as it is, but collections is one thing I am going to select. And at this stage you will see you get a homepage collection appear as a default. I'm going to tick that. I'm going to show you where that pops up a bit later on, so it adds it to the collection of homepage. Now, tags, again, are more advanced filter options you can use. As you can see, you get some quick options here. If you wanted to, again, upload some clothing and you had a summer line, or if you want to say it was made of cotton, again, vintage, you can see there. These are just more options you can use to filter products. But again, it's just about keeping it simple. So I'm going to hit save on that. My first product is ready to go. I'll wait for that to come up. So now I can go back to products. I got my list. Here's my axe. So let's add another one in. I'm now going to say John's rake. And again, I might put rake as the description. Obviously, you'd fill out it quite a bit more. Let's quickly get our images uploaded just so we can keep moving. I've got my 2 here. Now price, I'm going to say it's $15, which might be a nice cheap rate. Again, if you want to fill out these details, you can. I'm going to say I've got 5 available. As I scroll down, country of origin again is Australia, and that's about it for there. Scroll back up to the top. Product type, I'm going to say tool, and collections homepage. So that's it. Hit save. Like, how easy is that just to add your products in? And 9 times out of 10, when you're adding things like the description, you can grab that directly off the manufacturer's website or the wholesaler's website, and you can just put it straight in, and you don't even have to think about it. So there's 2 products added. Now I'm going to add my 3rd one in here, and I'm going to set a little bit of a different option on this one. So I'm going to go John's shovel. And I'm going to say a awesome shovel. Shovel. Now let's just say that my shovel comes in more than one color, which is going to be the case for a lot of products that you are stocking, particularly if you're in the clothing industry. You're going to have different sizes, different colors, as I mentioned before, that you're going to need to set up as what we call variations. So I'm just going to put my shovel in as $20 for now. And again, same options as before, Australia. Now, the box we want to tick to set up different colors and different variations of this product is under variant. So if I tick this, and this is very, very simple to set up. It actually pre-fills in size as an option. You can see there's a few different options here. I'm going to go for color, but of course, if you want to type one in, you can type in whatever you like, and that becomes your option. So I'm going to go back to color. Now you can see here that you want to separate your options with a comma. So I'm going to go black as my first option, comma, gray, comma, red. So they're my 3 colors of shovel. And if I scroll down a little bit further, you can see it's now opened up a new area, which allows you to change different things depending on the variant. So if I wanted the black shovel to be $30, maybe it's a bit more popular, a limited edition, I can change that price. So as the customer flicks between those options, it will also update the price. You can also change quantities for each. So I might say that there's 5 in stock of each. We can set that barcode and that SKU as well, but otherwise that's some very easy customizations that you can make to ensure that the stock on the website matches what you've got in store, and of course the pricing as well. So let's scroll back up to the top. Once again, I'm going to set my product type as a tool, and I'm going to add it to the homepage collection, and we're set. So I'm going to hit save, and once that refreshes, I'm going to go back to products, and you'll see our 3 products are added, ready to go. The only thing that you might notice here is a little bit different is now when it's looking at the inventory, we've got 15 stock for 3 variants. So it obviously has the total amount of that shovel that we have in stock. So that's it. Products are all ready to go. So let's go back to homepage. And of course, I missed to say this, but you'll probably have a lot more products than me. I'm just using 3 as a test, but you can follow that process and add 500 products if you wish. That's all fine, and you might make a few coffees over that journey. But let's go back to home again, and whenever you get stuck, you can always come back to home and find out where you are. So let's go customize theme, and this is going to be a quick section on how you can do some very basic customizations to your homepage. Some you might not wish to do, some that you might. You can probably actually start just about selling right now if you wanted to with your products loaded in and a couple of other options. But I'm going to take you through some basic setup of your theme and how you can make the shop look a bit more personalized for your business. So once we've hit on that page just before, we'll get to the theme section. And you can always get to the theme section under online store and themes if you need to come back to here. Now, Shopify has a huge range of free themes, and they've also got a series of paid themes if you want to go in and pay for them. But for our exercise, the debut theme is fantastic, and it does the job for 99% of stores just to get you up and running and to ride this wave of e-commerce that's coming during the pandemic. So there's a few actions that you've got if you want to get into code and things like that, which, again, feel free if you'd like to, but otherwise all you need to do is hit the big blue customize button, and this will give you a series of options on customizing your homepage. And a little bit of fun here, this is what it looks like currently. So as you can see, it's put my name or my business name in the top. We've got 2 pages currently, home and then catalog for our products. It automatically gives you a search function and the cart, so you can go in there and view your products. And as you can see, by default, it creates a lot of sections. So we've got a banner at the top, and if you remember earlier, I mentioned the banner image that we're going to use, and a couple of sections here, just image with text, a few little more call to action buttons there, or just images if you want to use them. featured collection, which will be for our products, which we'll set up shortly. And there's a few other sections in here, testimonials if you want to keep them in, a little bit of a gallery at the bottom, and then a footer. So a lot of these sections are just set up by default. If you wish to configure every single one of them, you're more than welcome to. There's a whole bunch of other sections. If you click on the side add section, you get blogs, you get collection lists, which we've already got, images, featured products. There's all sorts of things that you can do here. But before I get too far in, on this left-hand side, this is where you customize everything. So we can see if we want to customize a header, which is the bit across the top, of course, we can click header. All these sections on homepage, if you click them, they'll take you to that section with the customization options to the left. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to keep our text with overlay because I want to have a funky banner. The next section here, image with text, I don't need that, so I'm just going to remove it. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you get remove section. I'm going to hit that, and that gets rid of it completely. Text with columns with images, which is this one here. Again, I don't need it. I'm going to remove it. And when you're setting up your shop at a basic level, I recommend you just follow these few customizations just to get it up and running. You don't have to have too much on there. You just need to get into the sales game before it gets too late. And you can always go back and make these changes. So let's have a look. Image with text over, which is very similar to the top. I don't need that. I'm just going to remove it. Testimonials, again, you can follow through what I'm doing. You can click here if you'd like to add them in, of course. There's 3 testimonial links to here, which line up with the 3 testimonials over here. You can click them, add your text, add your author, and you're good to go. But in this case, I'm just going to remove that section. And lastly, this little gallery at the bottom, don't need it. If I wanted to, you can be more than welcome to upload an image, but I'm just going to remove it for now. So that leaves us with our header, will always be on the site, a banner here, which we will fill out shortly, a featured collection, which is easy, that's going to be our products, and then a footer. But I might add one more section in, we'll just see how we go. So let's start with the theme settings. Now this is where you can set some general settings across your theme, such as colors, as you can see there, typography, and a few other options which we'll run through very quickly. So one I think that's easy to do that I recommend you do is just to make the page colors match your logo. Now I've got a handy tool in my other tab here called imagecolorpicker.com. Now what this will let you do is if we go upload your image, we can upload your logo, which I have made here in 5 seconds, as you can tell, and this will actually let me find out what color is used in my logo. So I want to mimic this sort of greeny bluey color in my website. So if I click anywhere in there, you notice over in this left corner we get a hex code, and the hex code is this series of numbers and letters which corresponds to that shade of green. So if I copy this, I can minimize that and go back to my store, and you can see here all the options that I get to change the colors of. So I'm going to go into headings and links, and I'm going to paste that value right there, and there's my lovely green color. And as you can see, it's already updated some of the links here to match that. And the best part about this customizer is it updates on the fly. So if you change something over here, it will update on the right automatically. I'm also going to change my buttons. If I click in here, paste that over the top. I'm not sure if we have any buttons at the moment, but any of these buttons will now be in the same green color. Fantastic. And you can play around with a few of these options if you wish. I'm just going to change those 2, but if you want to change the color of the body text, you're more than welcome to. Any of these labels you can change, but I'm just going to do those 2 just to make it nice and easy for the time being. Typography, if you wish to play around with your font heading sizes, you're more than welcome to. I might even make mine just a fraction larger. Let's go up to, if I get onto 30. And any headings along on the website here, you'll see change. Again, see that it changes automatically as you're sitting there. But the rest of that I'm going to leave for now. And the rest of these options you really don't need to change too much. Search I'm going to leave as it is. Social media is one that would probably be worth filling out for your business. I don't have any social media accounts for my fictitious business, but if you scroll down in here, you can paste a link to your social media accounts. And I'll just do one as an example. If I pop Facebook in there, I go back, you see the preview on the right hand side will refresh. If I scroll down to the bottom, you now get a Facebook icon which will go straight to your Facebook page. So for your business, I do recommend setting these up. Now a fav icon is something that you can set if you wish. This is one of the options that you don't have to. And what that is it's this little icon that sits up in the browser tab. As you can see right now, it's the S for Shopify. So if I select an image, obviously I've got a few preset ones already with my site. I'm going to go upload. I'm just going to use my business logo. Why not? Nice and easy. Make sure it's ticked and then go select. And over on the right hand side, anytime that you need to actually save anything that isn't updated on the fly, right hand side will mean that it publishes to the live website, the blue button up there. And that's all done, ready to go, and it's just going to refresh in there. I'm not sure if this will refresh in my preview, but once we get onto the live website, you'll see my little icon appears. Now, there's a few other little options here. Again, I'll quickly run through them. Show notification when an item is added to cart. So when I add an item to cart, I'll get prompted to go into checkout from there. And you get a couple of checkout options if you want to add a background image. I do recommend that you add your logo just as a little touch, which again, blue button, select image. I've already uploaded my logo, so I select it, hit select, done, and you get a few little options there as well. And look, these ones can all be changed down the track. You don't have to change or customize everything in your store straight away if you're just ready to get going. But of course, I'm going to hit save anytime I make some changes. So there's our basic theme settings, and that's how you can find those. And look, if you need any advanced customization, I'm just a phone call or an email away if you need some help. But for right now, let's just go back and finish these sections on homepage and fill this site out a little bit more. So let's start with our header. Now, as you can imagine, that's the section across the top of the website that shows on every page. Let's start with uploading our logos. You remember I said that's one of our prerequisites, which we've already used a few times. So as soon as I tick that box, as you can see, it's already updated. So there's no mucking around here at Shopify. And if I want to look at our logo width, I can make that a little bit bigger and the logo will appear a little bit bigger. I might go 180. I'm feeling that's a good size. So that'll do for now. And that'll depend on what your logo is, whether it's landscape or portrait, how that works. There are some more advanced options you can use to customize how it shows on the page, but for now, that's going to do just fine. Now, the next section is our menu, which is our main menu, which is already done. Don't have to worry about that. Now, an announcement bar is a cool little one that you might wish to use. So if I tick that box, you would have seen this before. Here's a little section that shows above our navigation menu that lets you put in any big information you'd like to announce. What you often see, and what I'm going to put in there, is I'm going to say free standard shipping. Yeah, put a little exclamation mark on the end. So if you wish, you can put a little announcement like that across the top, just something to grab people's attention. You don't have to have this. Again, it's just one tick and it's gone. One tick and it's back. And we may wish to change that bar color to our blue greeny color that we've been using. And as you can see, Shopify remembers that you've already used that. So all we do is tick the box there and it's changed. And how much better is this looking already just from those few different changes? So again, to publish these to the live website, all we got to do is hit save. And we're up and running. Now let's go back. So image with text overlay. Now I'm using this as a banner for the website and I haven't actually saved a banner image to use just yet. So what I'm going to do is go back over to my other tab here with another free resource that's just brilliant called Pexels, Pexels.com. And these are free, royalty-free images that you're welcome to use on your website or with any of your projects. They're all the best stock photos you can find, and I guarantee there will be something related to your industry. So I'm just going to look up garden. And we've got plenty of images that we can use here. There's so many to pick from. That one looks quite nice. So I'm going to click on the image and I'm just going to go free download and give it a sec. Might have to allow that. That's just a browser thing. And here's my image ready to go. Piece of cake. So if I minimize this and go back to my Shopify site, select image. Now that's gone into my downloads. So I'm going to have to browse into there. There's my lovely image. Here's actually one I did save earlier. So I'm going to upload this. Give it a sec while it uploads. And look, this is just going to be an image that's related to your business. That's how you can just get a free one. But you may have a photo of the front of your shop or of your staff or anything like that. I just feel that it's a nice way to introduce people to your website and welcome people to your website just by having this nice banner image across the top. And again, like look how good this looks just with a few 5 minutes worth of customizations. You can go a lot further with this. So I'll scroll down here. There are a few options here, but I'm just going to set a heading. I'll say welcome. And again, you can make something much more meaningful. And I'll say check out our range of tools. Beautiful. Very easy here. And if you wish, you can also add a button, like a little call to action. I might say shop now. And then we can also search. So when we get back into how to add a link, now there's a few ways you can do this. Obviously you can paste a link to an external page, but in this case we want to link to a page within the site. So probably the easiest way is just to go to products and we can link to all products, or we can link to one in particular. So if we want people to shop now, we're just going to link to all products, which is going to be the same as the catalog page. So that will send people to the shop page where basically they can browse through products and purchase. So that's all done in that section. So I'm going to hit save. I'm very happy with that so far. and we'll go back one. Now, the other part we still had on the site was this featured collection, and this is where you can show all your products off on homepage as a little bit of a teaser for people that have visited your website. So if we click featured collection, you can change this heading. So I might make it latest products, for example. You can make this whatever you like. Beautiful. Now, you might remember when I set up those products, I ticked the box of the homepage collection for all those items. Now, it doesn't have to be called a homepage collection. That's just the default one that's set up with Shopify. And the idea is that when we click on the collection button there, we can look it up. I'm having a little bit of a glitch here. Let me try it again. Here we go. So it's just taking its time here, that lovely NBN that we've got going. So you can see the collection here of homepage, which is what we attached all those products to earlier. So I'm going to tick that box and go select. And as you can see, here's my 3 products all ready to go. There's a few other quick customizations you can make. Obviously, I've only got 3 products, so I'm going to change the products per row to 3. And that will automatically expand the images out so you can see them a bit nicer. If you have more products, of course, you can add more products per row. And if you have more than 3 products, you can, of course, show more rows as well. So there's a lot of customization you can get just by working with these sliders and just customizing it to suit your products. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is just tick the View All button, which is just another call to action link to go to the shop page. Nice and easy. And again, hit save because we don't want to lose our changes. Now, the last section we've got is a footer, and there's a few options you can set here if you really want to. I like to keep the footer very, very basic. So if you want to keep the payment icons which show along the bottom, which I do recommend because it is good for customers to see what payment methods you accept. You can change the color if you wish, again, but you really don't need to. As we scroll down a bit further, these little content sections I'm actually going to get rid of. So we can have some quick links along the bottom if we wish. Again, at this point, it's just not necessary. So we click it to expand, remove content. There it goes. The newsletter, and this is something that I actually do recommend you all look into as a small business owner, is having a newsletter go out to all of your customers. But for now, I'm just going to remove it out. So again, I click it to expand, remove content. These are things that you can add later on, and I probably will have guides down the track on how to set up a few more of these advanced marketing tactics. So as you can see, we've just cleared that section out of our footer, and we're now looking a little bit more clean with our footer area. And I'm pretty happy with this. I'm just going to hit save there, and I'm very happy with that. So there you go. We've actually customized the entire homepage. How easy was that? Piece of cake. Now, if you wanted to add any more sections in, it's very straightforward. You come straight back to where you were, add section, and this is where we had a quick look earlier at the variety of sections that you can add. Image with text overlay. There's all sorts of things here. If you just want to have a column or just some text, you can do that. There's so many options, but I'm going to keep things really simple, and I honestly think this is all you need to get yourself online and have an e-commerce presence. It's just the basics. You set up your header, you've set up your styling, a slider, which yours will probably be much more engaging than mine, your latest products, and then just keep your footer nice and easy. So let's close that. Again, we've saved. That's been grayed out. So let's go back to Shopify. So our homepage is done. Congratulations, another pat on the back. Put the kettle on again. You probably deserve another coffee at that point. There is a few steps in there, but again, once you've set it up, a lot of the times you don't even really have to change it at all. So I'm going to go back to home and see what steps that we've got left. Now, there are a few things that we need to work through more on the settings side. So we've now set up our products. We've added our homepage customizations. We're looking ready to go. There's a couple more things here that I'm going to run you through that are going to really make that shop pop and be ready to sell. Now, if you go back to the homepage, the last prompt that we actually have is to add your domain. And now this is something I probably should have mentioned earlier. And obviously your domain name is your address on the web. And you've got a couple of different options with this. If you already run a website, you might wish to keep that site running as is for the time being and run Shopify separately. Now, what you can do is if you look up in your address bar, you'll see that you've been generated a Shopify address, which is, for me, johns-gardening-tools-australia.myshopify.com. Now, that will work just fine. If you want to run your shop under that link for the time being, that is just fine. But the other option you have is to add a domain. Now, if I went and bought johnsgardeningtools.com.au, I can link that up through here. And that does require a little bit of technical knowledge. And again, you're more than welcome to reach out to me if you need some help with that. But if you're just getting started and you already run a website, there's absolutely nothing wrong with keeping that website as is and just running your Shopify website under your My Shopify address. So we'll leave that for the time being. But one thing that we will jump into is go under Online Store. And you'll see we get a few options under here that we can edit. I'm going to go under Pages because even though we've got our homepage and our products set up, I think we can probably add a little bit more information in there to keep people a little bit more engaged. So I'm going to say Add Page. And this is as easy as it is to add new pages to your Shopify website. I'm going to start with an About page. So we put the page title in. And again, one thing that's brilliant about Shopify is that everywhere you go when you want to add content, it's always going to be the same looking page editor. So it means once you're comfortable with it in one spot, it's the same everywhere else. So I'm just going to say John loves gardening. And of course on your end, it's going to be a lot more engaging than that. But when you do add your text in, you do get some options here. So you can make the text larger if you wish. You can bold, italic, underline. If you would like to add an image into this section, that's also possible. We enter down the little image icon. And again, it's just all follow your nose. You can see it brings up the images we've already uploaded. If you wish to upload a new one, you've got the upload file button at the bottom. It's very, very straightforward. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to insert my logo. Ooh, looks a bit funny. But anyway, there's plenty of options there to format this text. I might even take that out. So once you're done, that's it. Hit save and you've got an About page. How easy is that? Now, speaking of easy, the easiest thing that you can actually do on Shopify is add a contact page. And I do know that it can be a bit daunting if you want to add a contact form and all that sort of information can be a bit tricky, but with Shopify, it's incredibly simple. So now that we've actually added a page, you'll get a list of all the pages created, which of course is just About. Now, if I click Add Page in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to add a contact page because that is very important. I want my customers to be able to contact me if they have any issues. Now, the thing with a contact page is you actually don't have to add any content or a tricky form at all. There's actually a page template just for your contact page. If you click over here to page template suffix and click the drop down, you get one that says page.contact. Now, if we set that as our suffix, we just hit save. And that does all the work for us. So I'm actually going to view this page, which once you've saved it, you get a few options here to duplicate and one to view page. I'm going to open that in a new tab. This is magic. This is pretty cool. Look at that. We've already got a contact form ready to go. And that's going to link up straight to the email that you've already inserted. So you don't have to think twice about it. You've got a contact page set up, ready to go. No mucking around. And if you want to add a bit more information above that, say, hey, please call us as well. You can easily just add it into the content there. That form will stay and you'll be all sweet. Now, once we've added our 2 pages, we have to go into navigation, and this is where you control the navigation menu, which is in that top part or the header of your page. So once you're on navigation menu, let's hit main menu, and you'll see right now all we've got is home and catalog. And if you remember when we were customizing the home page, they were the only 2 options we had across the top, but it's very straightforward to add an extra page in. So let's go add menu item. I'm going to add my brand new About page. So all we have to do here is click under Pages, About, done, Add. How easy is this? Add another one. Let's add Contact. Again, Pages and Contact. Well, that's as simple as it is, but this also gives you some options if you want to add in your navigation menu a few more advanced options. Let's just say, blogs we haven't covered here, but you're more than welcome to add those. If you wanted to add a link directly to a single product or maybe a collection of products, if it was t-shirts, things like that, you can do that quite simply. Let's say if I wanted to add to one product, that's all I would do, the name and then the link. Piece of cake. The other thing we can do is do blog posts, as I mentioned. Oops. If you had more than one collection, which is a way that you can categorize your products, you can do that. Again, if you need some help with this, reach out. But right now we're going to keep it simple and link to our contact page. Absolute piece of cake. Here we go. Now the other thing we might want to do is rearrange how this looks. So I'm going to pop my About page after home. And I'm going to put contact at the bottom. But I don't want that to be called catalog. I think it's not as engaging as what it could be. So I'm going to hit edit. I'm going to change that label to shop. Apply. Done. How easy is that? And then of course we just hit one of the 2 save buttons and our changes are live. Now if we go back to home, if we want to have a little preview of the shop, we can go to the little icon next to online store, which will open up a new tab. And here's our store. We actually haven't looked at this in the flesh just yet, but as you can see, I've got my announcement banner across the top, my logo, my pages here. If I navigate through, there's my about, there's my shop with all my options, piece of cake, and then my contact page with my contact form. How easy is this? Back to home, and as you can see, I've got my latest products, and I've got my footer, which I set up earlier, and I'll just close that down. So that's as easy as it is. You're pretty much 90% of the way through, ready to sell to your customers online. So I'm just going to go back to my Shopify homepage. There's a few options that we quickly need to set just before we can accept orders, and I'll go into right down at the bottom here, the settings tab, and I'm going to run through a few of these options which you need to do in order to activate your Shopify store. And these are very straightforward. Again, if you're onto your third cup of coffee, this is the last one, I promise. So we'll start with general, and this is just to make sure that your settings are all correct, and these are the settings, if you remember, we did set up earlier. So when we first created our Shopify shop, we added our store name, our email, our phone number, address, all these details. If you wish to change any of these bits of information, you're welcome to, but it's going to be all ready to go from there. All right, back to settings. Locations we can leave, plans and permissions we can leave. Payment providers is one that you're going to need to fill out. Now, the advantage of Shopify is it actually has a built-in payment provider called Shopify Payments, and this is very, very easy to set up. You don't need to register for anything, you just fill out some details on the page. So to do this, clicking complete account setup is what you need to do. And this is where you're going to need to go through and fill out a few more details about your business. So you're going to have to enter your type of business, and this is where you have to put your ABN or ACN in. If you scroll down a little bit further, you want your personal details. This is just to confirm who you are. Product details, and this is just more for Shopify's, record. So just describe what you're selling. And at the bottom here, there's a couple last options. So the statement descriptor is what will show up on your customer's statement when they put a purchase in. So again, more than likely, that'll just be the store name. And lastly, you want to input your BSB and account number. So once you accept these payments, they'll automatically be withdrawn into your account, and you'll be able to monitor all that within this control panel. But make sure that's filled out correctly, and you'll be able to receive payments straight from Shopify. So there's no risk on you whatsoever. All the security is taken care of. The payment processing is taken care of. You just have to sit back and watch the money roll into your account. And once you've done that, you can have a look over the terms and conditions and click complete account order, which I won't do because I'm not going to fill this out. Now, that's very straightforward to get your payments set up compared to some other methods that can take a bit of time and approval and these sorts of things. It's an absolute piece of cake. Now, if we go back here, gift cards, if you want to set that up, you can, but we're not going to. Store languages, again, we don't have to. I'll take one very quick look at the checkout because you do get a few options that you can set for when your customers are putting their order in. Now, this is completely up to you. Some you can change, some you don't have to. I'll quickly run through a few that I feel are quite handy. If you'd like your customers to be able to set up an account, you're able to enable that option from here. I prefer it just to be on guest checkout, at least while you're getting started. There's no need to be able to collect customers' passwords and these sorts of things, which again is not a security problem, but it's just an extra step they don't need to do. So you can set that up here. When you're going through the next few options here, I like to tick the option here that lets customers add a phone number or an email to receive shipping updates. And you may have done this before through other shops where you've put your phone number in and you'll get a text whenever there's a shipping update. So that's just something that's handy to do. As we scroll down a little bit further, I often like to hide the address line 2 field, which is just an unnecessary field that shows up on a lot of online shops, and the rest of them can just be left as is. But there are a few little options you can use if you want to tweak your checkout experience for customers, but otherwise I always enable the phone number and email updates and just hide that address line 2. So I'll hit save. Again, that blue save button follows you around everywhere, wherever you need to make a change. I'm going to go back to settings. So notifications you can leave as is. That's all about email notifications at the customer end and at the admin end. Billing, if you wish to change any of this information, you can do it from here, such as add extra payment methods you can do, check your tax registration, but otherwise that can all just stay as it is. Very, very straightforward. Now, shipping is something that we haven't set up yet and something that you will need to do. And what I'm going to do here very quickly is show you how to set up 2 rates. One for a free standard rate or free standard shipping. Number 2 for $10 at an express rate. So all we need to do at the very top here is just go manage rates. And this is the easiest way to set up shipping through your online shop. You can do it a bit more, complicated, where you've got postcode-based shipping or weight-based shipping. If you need a hand with this, again, feel free to reach out. I'm just going to do 2 very basic rates of shipping at this point, and they're already set up in Shopify, which is brilliant. So I've got my standard rate here. Currently, it's at $10. If I want to edit this, all we do is click the 3 dots, edit rate. I'm actually going to make this free. I'm going to go 0, and I'm going to make it free. Done. Easy. Now on my Express, currently it's $15. Again, hit the 3 dots, edit rate. I'm going to make it 10 because I'm pretty generous as a shop owner. Look, you can set other items or other options here. You can set a minimum price or a maximum price if you wanted it to be, say, $10 shipping up until, say, if I wanted to quickly go in here and say up until $50 spent, it's $10, and then after $50, it's $20. You're more than welcome to do that. You can set up all these advanced shipping options, but I'm just going to keep it really easy. There's not much point making it difficult. But what I am going to do is I'm actually going to remove the rest of the world shipping method here, because I only want to ship within Australia, which will just mean that there's just no options available. Again, keeping it straightforward. So just to quickly summarize, these are 2 very straightforward flat rates you can set. I've decided to make my standard shipping free, but you can make it $10, you can make it $100, whatever you wish. And then I've added a charge for express shipping. Easy. So now I'll go back up to the top and save. And now we're on the home straight. We're almost there. So if I go back 1 level and back again, I'm back to our settings menu. Files you can leave as is. Now legal is something that you can complete, and I do recommend putting a few lines in each of these. So this is where you set up your refund policy, your privacy policy, terms of services, and shipping policy. So you can drop a few easy details in depending on your refund policy and your shipping policy. But if you want some help with your privacy and your terms of service, I've got some templates you can use. Just reach out and I'll help you out with that. It is worth filling out though, just in case. Taxes, again, just check these settings. You've already set these up. There's a bunch of spots you can edit these settings, so just double check those. And lastly, sales channels is another more advanced option you don't need to worry about. So we've set our settings, we've set our payments, we've set our shipping, we've added our products. We're pretty much ready to go. Now, the last thing that we need to do, there's one last part we need to do to actually activate our online shop, and that's connecting a Shopify plan. This is the last bit you need to do, and then you're ready to go. So you'll find if we actually open the shop, everything is ready to go. Everything's ready to start selling, but we actually can't check out. So if I add that to my cart and I go view cart and I check out, how cool is this? You'll actually see that the checkout isn't available, and this is because we haven't activated a plan. So if I go, I'll close this for now, and I go back to here, and I go select a plan. Now, just to clarify, you do get a 90-day free trial with Shopify, but you actually need to select a plan before you can take orders and start processing payments and servicing your customers. But depending on which plan you pick, these plans will not kick in until your 90-day trial is up. So from today, which is April the 11th, I've got 90 days from this day before my plan actually kicks in. So what you would be doing is you only need really the $29 a month option, unless you've got multiple staff and different locations and things like this. $29 US per month is all you need, and all you have to do there is choose a plan. Very simple, very, very simple. Fill out your credit card information and start plan. And as soon as you hit that button, your shop will be online and you'll be ready to sell and ready to get through this pandemic and do business in a new way, which I think is the key here. So that'll about do it for this tutorial, folks. As you can see, we've gone through adding our products, customizing our shop, adding our shipping and payment options, and activating our plan. So you'll be ready to take orders and ready to get amongst the e-commerce for 90 days for free, which is unreal. And then it's $29 US per month. And as I said at the very start, hopefully by then you'll have a few staff on board to help you keep up with the orders. But again, this has been John Fitzgerald from ThinkWeb in Horsham. You're more than welcome to reach out to me for any questions or queries, or if you need some help with more advanced customizations. Shopify is an incredibly powerful tool, and I really hope it becomes an integral part of your business in 2020. Thanks for joining me.